Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is the Vulgar Marxist. Well, that happened fast. In 1 week, the Supreme Court released 3 decisions. I'm not even going to bother with their names. 1 crippling affirmative action, 1 attacking student loan forgiveness, and 1 attacking LGBT rights. Now, from what I'm seeing, the mainstream media is focusing on the LGBT rights one. With good cause, I might add, because from a corporate America perspective, the student loan and the affirmative action attack are, frankly, a very long time coming. We should all know by now that because of the shortage of workers in the United States, wages are climbing. And corporate America is now scrambling desperately to find workers anywhere they can, by any means they can. And we will go more into that later. But before we proceed with this video, I need to make a couple of things clear. And liberals watching this are not going to enjoy this at all. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be really mad before this video is over because you guys got played. And you got played hard. The premise of affirmative action and college attendance generally was that college was a road to better pay. That is, that the more people who went to college, the more education they would have, the better jobs they could apply to, the more they would be paid, and a general uplifting of the American worker out of menial labor, low-wage jobs would occur. This was based on the assumption in the 1960s that while only 8% of America was graduating with a college degree, nearly all of them were getting jobs with that degree in the field they studied, and nearly all of them were earning significantly more than those without a college degree. This has been repeated ad nauseum for 60 years, and no one has paused to double check whether these things were still occurring. Now, I would hope by now we all understand that after this was implemented, wages fell off a cliff. Wages in nearly every industry collapsed, due largely to the influx of workers in the market, women joining the labor force, which was entirely predictable. When supply goes up, prices fall. It is true for everything, wages as well as anything else. But there is another key component that no one was paying attention to. Even though it was perfectly observable that wages were collapsing, there was another part of this that occurred at the same time. This next part is an amalgamation of 2 figures, and I do not have continual data for it. I will accede that. Yes, university graduation rates were increasing throughout this entire time period. More and more and more people were walking out of universities with advanced degrees. However, that had long ago stopped translating to more and more people ending up being able to use those degrees. 2 years ago, barely a quarter of those graduating ended up working in their field. What this means functionally is only 10% of adults go to school, graduate college, and get a job in the field they studied. This is, I remind you, versus 8% in 1960. Let me say that again. Between 1960 and today, the portion of the population working in degree-contingent jobs moved from 8% to 10%. The stats for the much vaunted and glorified STEM fields are, if possible, even worse. Less than 24% of graduates end up working in their field, which means less than 10% end up actually doing anything with a degree they worked so hard to earn. And this right here is why we are now seeing the attack upon affirmative action and college students generally. because it has finally dawned on those in command that all of their lies are coming out. There are no job creators, no additional positions for college students were ever created, and a generation of students with useless degrees through no fault of their own that they will never be able to pay back because the alleged jobs never existed, are about to walk to the polls and start voting.